We're here in one of Europe's most unique cities to explore its awe-inspiring architecture
medieval roots,
and Scotch whiskey.
Welcome to Edinburgh.
We're Brent and Chelsea, and our passion is traveling. Follow us at BC Voyages for the best food, culture, and activities from across the globe.
In this episode, we'll explore historical sites,
This is quite a cannon.
get a taste of whiskey, discover the birthplace of Harry Potter, and hang out with a real party monster.
The Scots are a proud bunch, and with good reason. They've been fending off attacks since the time of the Romans. Their rich history is on full display here in the capital.
Edinburgh is separated into two distinct districts.
It's medieval Old Town, which houses the castle, and it's neoclassical New Town.
Both are separated by a large urban park, Princess Street Gardens. It used to be a lake where they would drown witches.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. We're going to start our adventure, like a fairy tale, at the castle. And yes, Chelsea, you're the princess.
Tell me I get more shoes.
Sure.
And a crown?
Now you're pushing it. Come on.
Oh.
Built on an extinct volcano known as Castle Rock, Edinburgh Castle has stood for over 1,000 years. It's been everything from a royal residence and prison to a formidable military garrison.
Now, today's castle is besieged by tourists, but back in the day, this place was under siege over 26 times, and it holds the record as one of the most attacked places on the planet. When we walked in, you saw Robert the Bruce and William Wallace, aka Braveheart, flanking the entrance. Now, back in 1314, 30 of Robert the Bruce's own men snuck over the cliffside into the castle and defeated the English garrison. They made so much noise that the English thought it was an entire Scottish army and fled. That helped to secure a Scottish independence that would last for over 400 years. It was a sneak attack in the middle of the night, but two of the guys were playing bagpipes, so it must have been pretty fearsome. That's right. My family owns a pair of stairs at the Edinburgh Castle. All these people owe me money. It was actually named after a siege. There was a Lang siege of Edinburgh Castle, and I guess these stairs were made to get heavy equipment up and down easier. I still feel like I own them. I don't remember my stairs being this tiring.
Can you get like a Lang elevator?
We had a Lang escalator, but the French blew it up in 1717. And then there was a Lang elevator in 16 and the Dutch took that one out. Yeah, it was fun though. We had it.
The view from the top was well worth the climb. And we made it just in time. Every day, the ships in the port set their clocks to the boom of the 1 o'clock gun. Why not noon? It's cheaper to fire one shot instead of 12.
Speaking of shots fired,
Yoo-hoo! This is Mons Meg. It's a giant cannon that was gifted from the Duke of Burgundy because he was fighting the English too. It could fire one of these cannonballs up to 2.2 miles. So usually when they were rolling this beast onto the battlefield, you would probably wave the white flag rather than face the wrath of the Mons Meg.
As if this place didn't house enough history, it also holds the National War Memorial, which commemorates all of the Scottish soldiers lost since World War I. Across the courtyard are the royal apartments, which were once the home of Mary, Queen of Scots. The rooms were literally fit for a queen.
Oh my, I do fit in.
the Museum of the Royal Regiment shows off the bravery, valor, and kilted warrior image of the Scottish troops under the British Crown. I don't think this soldier made it.
If he did make it, he would have ended up here, in the prison of war.
After exploring the castle for a bit longer, we made for the drawbridge. On your way out, be sure to say goodbye to William Wallace and Robert the Bruce, and examine the royal coat of arms and national motto, which translates to, "No one provokes me with impunity."
Outside the gate, there's a charming fountain.
This is the Witch's Well. It commemorates the spot where hundreds of people were burned at the stake back in medieval times. Apparently it was a pretty good way to get rid of people you didn't want around if you were rich and powerful. Now, the best way that they used to tell if you were a witch is they would bind your thumbs to your ankles, they would throw you in the loch, which is now Princess Street Gardens. If you sank, you were innocent, given a good Christian burial. But if you floated, you were a witch, and you were usually burned at the stake. Talk about a lose-lose situation. I don't think I would make it with my wand shirt back in the day. probably beef.
The Royal Mile runs from the castle to Holyrood Palace, which is where the British royal family stays when they're in town. The mile gets its name because it runs from royal residence to royal residence.
Now that the history lesson is over, it's time for some tea. So this is my first activity of the trip. I'm taking Brent to have tea. Located at the opposite end of the Royal Mile is Clarinda's tea room. Clarinda was a friend and mentor to Scotland's national poet Robert Burns. She wasn't a bad baker either.
Tea. Oh, that's hot.
Tea still tastes like leaves to me.
Tea time is nice. I see why people do this. I love tea time. Top notch.
So now we're actually going to go to his activity, which is...
Whiskey!
We're gonna go try some whiskey at Cadenhead's whiskey shop.
So here we go.
This place is a whiskey lover's dream. They've got a little bit of everything, and we mean everything. Plus, just like Costco, there's free samples.
Oh yeah, it's peated. It's peated all right.
The staff was super knowledgeable and helped us pick out the perfect whiskey.
I got a bottle of whiskey to go!
Woohoo! Now that that's over, let's go shopping. Tron Kirk was a church from the 1600s right up until 1952,
Notice the stained glass.
when it became a tourist information center and ultimately this market.
Speaking of churches, known for its spire, designed to look like the crown of thorns, is Scotland's most important church, St. Giles Cathedral. It was here that John Knox led the Reformation movement to break away from the Catholic Church. In the stained glass, you can see him delivering one of his fiery sermons. Look at all that fire. The Thistle Chapel is ornately decorated with a list of Scottish knights going all the way back to the 1800s. It's here where the British royal family bestows knighthood, but only once a previous knight has died.
In the parking lot behind the cathedral, make sure to look down to get a glimpse of John Knox's last resting place.
Today's Old Town is a bustling tourist hub, but back in the 1700s, it held the not-so-loving nickname of Old Reekie. Everything from horse manure to waste from the butcher's block made its way onto the Old Mile streets. And with 40,000 people living in cramped quarters, it's no wonder that cholera outbreaks were common, and poor people knew each other not by name, but by smell. Something had to change, and that change was Newtown. This was designed as a union of English and Scottish heritage with street names like Rose and Thistle, which are the symbols of England and Scotland. Now, Newtown envisioned a happy marriage between the two, but ask a Scot, you might get a different opinion.
A walking tour of Newtown is a great way to spend an afternoon. There's great views of the castle everywhere you look, particularly in that Starbucks. Stop in for a drink or head down the road to one of the novelty named pubs. The streets are home to high-end hotels, the National Gallery, and a brand new shopping center. Speaking of shopping, I have a little surprise lined up for Brent. So Brent,
Oh, yes, yes.
I have a dare for you.
Oh God, what's the dare?
I want you to wear a kilt.
We're a kilt?
Yeah, so you're gonna have to go buy one,
Man.
and you're gonna wear it tonight for dinner.
Okay. All right, if it's a dare. Okay, where do we find a kilt?
Okay, I found the shop up here.
Can't believe you're making me do this.
I chose this tartan color since it was the closest to the Macoons, which lines up with my mom's family lineage dating back to the 1500s.
Let's try it on.
Fun fact, we were sellswords for the Campbells. Now we're just killing them with dance moves. The only thing left to do now is strut around town. Now I've got a surprise for Chelsea at dinner.
So here we are at Monteith's Close, and we're looking at the menu. And guess what, Chelsea? I dare you to try the haggis.
I just ordered the Sunrise Old Fashioned to please you because I'm not a whiskey drinker. I'm usually a gin drinker, but I figure when in Rome.
We're in Scotland.
So that's why I'm gonna try the whiskey.
Do they have whiskey in Rome?
They probably do.
Well, they've definitely got haggis in Scotland,
They
and
got
you're gonna
haggis
try it.
here. Oh no.
Pretty cool little bar.
Great to ask because I don't think I want to know. But what exactly is haggis?
Okay, haggis is sheep's liver, stomach, and intestines all mashed together. Oh, and their heart and lungs mashed together.
Yep.
And then served to you. Okay, the moment of truth. The haggis is here. Go on, Chelsea. Have a little nibble.
I'm gonna get some sauce in here.
Go on.
I'm gonna do it, I swear.
A few moments later.
And she said she didn't like it.
It was really good. Flavoring was really good.
The bar is starting to get full, so we're heading back to our hotel to get an early start tomorrow morning. But one quick elevated dance party never hurt nobody.
You're in Edinburgh. Edinburgh. We're getting breakfast at the hotel before we head out.
I feel Scottish.
What they don't tell you is that the black pudding has blood in it. After breakfast, we did a quick flyby of Calton Hill. Then we hit a local favorite for a pick-me-up.
We got a pistachio cookie and a latte. Look at that latte art.
This is Dean Village. It used to be a grain village where they would run the mills with the power of this water. And now it is just a sleepy little town right next to Edinburgh where you can go to have a nice walk and enjoy a coffee.
Some say it's also the inspiration for Hogsmeade.
Turn down Miller's Row to start the picturesque stroll known as the Water of Leith Walkway. It's a favorite activity for tourists and locals alike, due to its tranquil surroundings and beautiful highlights like Bernard's Well. Also this ancient building which is definitely haunted.
Ooh, definitely haunted.
There's even a secondary walkway that gets you closer to the water. This is such a wonderful way to spend your morning, and it led to the Stockbridge Market, which is open every Sunday.
They have heady coos. It's so many heady coos.
The vendors here sell everything from vegetables to jewelry and antiques. You get the feeling that this has roots going back centuries.
So this is Welsh wildflower honey, mixed with spring water and blackberry juice. Of course. And yourself?
Aged 18 months in whiskey barrels. Try the mead.
From this into your glasses. Sweet around your mouth as much as you can.
Yeah, wow, that's got a lot of flavor.
And that is why it's my favourite.
First time buying mead, first time meeting a friar.
We got honey and lavender mead.
Yeah, we're gonna drink it in the Highlands. And also in Edinburgh before we leave.
We probably won't make it back to the States.
Probably not.
On our way back to the city center, we made a quick pit stop at Lannon Bakery. So many of our followers suggested we try this place. For a more detailed look at everything we ate and drank, see our follow-up videos.
And don't forget to subscribe to catch all of our content.
Don't plug the subscribe thing. Next up is the Writers' Museum, dedicated to three of Scotland's most legendary writers: Robert Burns, Sir Walter Scott, and Robert Louis Stevenson. Robert Burns was the national bard who spoke up for the common man. Robert Louis Stevenson wrote famous novels like Treasure Island and had many personal effects on display, including his journal, a printing press, and several first edition copies of his work. Sir Walter Scott, author of the Waverley novels and Rob Roy, also had personal effects on display like this pipe. Scott was such a pivotal figure to Scotland's identity that they built the Scott Monument, which had characters from his novels carved into the stonework, centered around a statue of him with one of his favorite hounds.
Over on Victoria Street, we dive into the lore of another great author, J.K. Rowling.
We're finally here in your Harry Potter homeland. How do you feel?
I'm
magical. Victoria Street is said to be the inspiration for Diagon Alley, and it's full of fun Harry Potter themed shops. You can even stop by the Elephant House, known as the birthplace of Harry Potter, to enjoy a butterbeer and get a glance at the desk where J.K. Rowling wrote some of the original manuscripts. We love reading the entries from other Potter fans around the world.
Museum Context is another fun Potter-themed shop. They've got wands galore, and these ones seem to work.
Guardian Leviosa. Oh, I'm so sorry, Brett.
The shop has 3 stories, so make sure you see them all.
It is quite magical.
Victoria Street is one of our favorite parts of the city, so we're buying a painting from a local artist to go on our travel wall at home. He even signed it.
To keep the Harry Potter train rolling, we're throwing on our robes at the Department of Magic to brew up some alcoholic potions. These unique self-guided cocktail making activities give us a chance to sample a real-life potions class.
What potion do you think you're gonna make?
Well, as a wizard,
I'm thinking of getting Dragon's Inferno. Brewing your own delicious magical drinks that bubble and smoke. They provide easy-to-follow spell sheets with instructions and incantations. Toss in a dance break or two, and we're nearly there. Chelsea has a love potion.
Name my true love.
Don't worry, I'm writing Brent.
Like she needs a love potion.
Cheers.
Just below the castle is Grassmarket Street. It used to be where they kept the livestock and fed the horses, but now it's just known for getting humans tossed, with a famous string of pubs.
One pub, The Last Drop, would offer a final drink before your public execution.
Speaking of interesting stories, you can pick one up at Armchair Books, just down the road. This antiquarian bookshop has a huge selection of rare Victorian and secondhand books.
Once you're done, make sure to stop by Vennel Street for a great view of the castle. Luckily, it has good cell service too. Hey, Mom and Dad.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Oh, not bad. We're just walking up and down stairs for the millionth time. So far, we've really loved Edinburgh, and we're about to go into the Highlands tomorrow. But tonight, we're just walking around before dinner, and just hanging out.
Hey, did you try the ghost tour yet?
Oh no, we didn't. I forgot about that. It goes underground and stuff, right?
Yeah, scary. Yeah.
Okay.
Especially if you're claustrophobic.
Okay. I think we'll check that out. We have a few hours. We'll try to find that online and go check it out.
Okay. Have
All
a
right.
good time. Call us back again.
Okay, I will. I love you guys.
Bye.
Bye.
We found the ghost tour in a graveyard.
Welcome to Greyfriars Kirkyard. This really is my favourite place in Edinburgh. 16th century graveyard, shut down in the 1930s. No one gets buried here anymore. We could maybe make one exception, I suppose. The cemetery is not very large on the surface. There's only 300 gravestones, but it's very deep. Some sections are actually 20 metres deep with dead bodies.
That's a lot of bodies. And J.K. Rowling used some of them as inspiration for Harry Potter characters, like the Potters, Professor McGonagall, and Tom Riddle, aka Lord Voldemort.
He who shall not be named.
Right, sorry. Back to some more medieval history.
James II of Scotland shot himself in the head with a cannon by accident. Completely true. James III fell off his horse into a bottomless pit. He was never seen again. The only person that saw that happen was James IV. The Battle of Flodden Field. 40,000 Scots against 26,000 English. There is no way we could lose the battle. First person to die in the battle? Exactly. King James IV of Scotland. Don't you dare laugh at that, Tony. The king goes down, the Scottish army massacred, and they built this wall around Edinburgh to keep out the English. Where are you from? Carry on then. The wall's not doing a very good job, I have to say.
After all that bloody history, we're ready for a drink with a famous graveyard dog.
I see dead people.
Oh, we didn't see any ghosts. We saw a lot of graves.
This place here is pretty haunted.
Well, with no Ghostbusters to call, we're heading to a Frankenstein-themed bar, and it's a blast. There are 3 floors of immersive entertainment, the decor and menu are spooktacular, and the big man himself even makes an appearance.
He's alive!
He's alive.
If you can't tell, we're Frankenstein fans and may have dressed up as a couple for Halloween.
Now we're off to our last meal. In Edinburgh, not forever. It's at Bon Vivant in Newton.
So this is a haggis bonbon. You gotta eat that. Put that down and eat this. It's so good.
We have to try some more Scottish cuisine, so we are going with the lamb.
She loved it. And with that, the Edinburgh portion of our Scotland voyage was over. If you thought this was fun, wait until you see us take a motor home into the Highlands. See you on the next adventure! To see more of our Scotland adventures, click the video above.